What's up? And I think I just gave y'all like the bomb ass introduction. For those of y'all just tuning in, hey, my name is Cam. I got 21 chronic illnesses, and I got enough trauma to start a forest fire. Cause what are we doing? I'm 38 years old, right? And I'm trying to think like where this all started for me. Like, so let's start from the beginning and work our way back. I didn't grow up with a mom. Most people got like deadbeat daddies. I literally had a deadbeat mama. Both of my parents weren't shit. Like, both of them allowed things to happen to me. And honestly, we gonna talk on it. I don't give a fuck who felt anyway about it, because, like, for a long period of time, I didn't get to speak my truth, and I was silenced for it. You know what I'm saying? I was really silenced for it. So my mom left when I was 4, but it wasn't until like I was like what 16, 17 I found out like they had joint custody, but I was manipulated my whole life into thinking like, yo, my dad was the only one with custody. And me and my dad's relationship was like fucked up because there's a train outside my house, y'all, and I find it so soothing. So I was manipulated to think my whole life, like my dad, from the time I was 4, that my dad had custody of me. And my mom, she just could not save me because she just didn't want us to know that she just didn't want kids. So she like avoided accountability, and it was just so much easier to put it on my dad instead of me like, yo, I just don't want kids. I literally had to force it out of her later on in life because she tried to play in my fucking face. So we'll start there. We don't talk about how everybody don't have parents that are parents for them. Most people have like they mom, and most people had a dad, but I literally had nobody. I was thrown to the wolves, and it was like, man, fight back or get swallowed. Like, have you ever been swallowed? No, bitch, cause I rock they shit. You hear me? Um, so it was difficult to me, and like they both dated people who like terrorized me. I had equal counterparts. Like, I had a step mother and I had a stepfather, and they was like evil as fuck. So, like, starting off with my biological mom, because I don't call her by her name. I mean, I don't call her mom. I call her by her name. So basically, when life with her was like very odd, very strange, and she worked very, very hard. I will give her that. Like, when I was with her, she worked very, very hard. She had several hats that she did put on, and she was like one of those moms who would like bake and cook meals, and we was allowed to have pets and things like that. We had cats. My sister had these things, and I was just allowed for a ride. We had like cats, 2 dogs, a rabbit, but they was like my sisters. But we're just gonna say we had them. And what's crazy is I don't fuck with animals today, and it's crazy because like on the outside looking in, we had a very normal life. Like, but when you go on the inside, we were getting abused very badly. We were getting abused very badly, and my stepfather, he was on that powder. He was on that powder really bad. He was taking advantage of me. I'm gonna try to avoid saying too much about my sister, because I'm gonna try to like hint around it so y'all can get the the you know hint, but I'm not gonna go into detail too much because um I'm not trying to tell her story. I'm trying to tell mine. And I feel like my sister has to tell hers. But I'm going to tell things from my point of view without going into details to where she telling or speaking for her, if that makes sense. So he did things to my sister, and man, he went to town on me. Um, but one thing I can say is he never inserted himself into me. Um, but he would play with me, and I that's crazy as fuck. And I think I have to say that, and I'm saying that because there's so many people that go through things like that, and it used to start because, like I said, my biological mom, she wore many hats, and what was crazy is she used to get me dressed every morning before I went to work. She went to work, like I would take baths at night. I do remember that, but I remember in the morning, like she would get me up, like give me a little wash up, and then like she would get me dressed and I would lay down. And then I remember as soon as she left, he would be undressing me. He would be undressing me and tell me like I had to wash up. And I was just like little, so I didn't really understand like what was happening. And I remember like the first time he did it, he paid extra close attention to my lower regions, and I didn't quite understand what was going on. And I really didn't understand because, my mom had just got me dressed. And it seemed like an eternity. He was just rubbing me there, like no soap, no rag. He was just rubbing me. And I'm just sitting there, like, kind of thinking, like, I don't understand. And I'm sitting on the toilet, like, standing up on the toilet, and I'm not understanding. And then I remember him just putting my clothes back on and him telling me to lay down. And that was just him just rubbing at this point. And I didn't understand like what was going on. But see, he used to beat the mess out of me for everything too. So I really didn't understand like what was going on, and I was too scared to say anything because he used to beat me so bad that I used to have weekend visits with my father, and my biological mom, she just wouldn't send me on those visits. She would say like I was sick or something to like the bruising would like calm down. So like when this first started happening, he had a lot of control over me, and like I'm like little. So I don't really recall like when the first incident happened because I have developed, like they say, like when you go through a lot of trauma you develop some type of amnesia, and that leads to PTSD. My diagnosis is chronic, um no, not chronic, um severe anxiety, PTSD, and I have manic depression. And yeah, and I just remembered that memory. Like I remember him touching me, but I just remembered that memory like a couple of years ago because I had my first PTSD episode in like the weirdest way. And I just, when I first had this memory as an adult, I remember taking several showers trying to rub it off of me. And what was crazy is, as a as a teenager growing up, I used to get um, one of those scrub sponges, and I used to be like scrubbing my skin. I used to feel so fucking dirty and nasty all the time. And I can't even say if it was just from that situation per se, or if it was like from other situations that built up to that. But yeah, I used to go to the dollar store and I used to get that sponge and I used to be scrubbing myself because I used to feel so fucking dirty all the time. All the time I felt dirty. And when I seen that incident replay in my head, like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy that people will really do that. And I was so little as a kid. They used to call me Bones. Like, I used to be so little and skinny. And, it just be crazy, like, how people take advantage of people who they feel are weaker, people who they feel like they can dominate, people who they can do that. And I think that's why, like, I grew up and I became a fighter because I don't know, like, it be like situations like that that really be wake up calls for you. But yeah, guys, like, that shit be so crazy. How people really be out here touching. And I remember, like, I never told. Because as a kid, I never talked. I never said anything like, yo, it was just one of them things where I just never said anything. I just used to watch, shut up, and observe a lot of stuff. And I was like, damn, why you never said nothing? Like, part of me held myself accountable for so long. Like, you let this person do you like this. You let them. But yeah, guys, this is what this page is going to be built on. Um, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we're going to be sharing my life traumas, experiences, and talking about chronic pain. Signing off.